my name is Mackenzie Austin, and today I will be discussing the fight for marriage equality. Same-sex marriages should be allowed all the same freedoms as opposite-sex marriages because of adoption rates, their inability to divorce, and the lack of recognition by the government. The fight for equal rights is growing, and it may be controversial, but it is a human rights issue that must be discussed. This brings me up to the topic about adoption rates. Adoption by same-sex couples is scarce in some states of the USA and also in places like China and Russia. Many agencies in China and Russia do not believe in allowing same-sex couples to adopt their children. According to Cameron Ponteeve, prior to Obergefell versus Hodges, same-sex couples were unable to apply for joint foster care, surrogacy arrangements, and adoption. Obergefell versus Hodges may have taken away legal discrimination, but it did not take away social discrimination. Jen Christensen, the producer of CNN, stated that the Idaho court ruled that sexual orientation could no longer be the sole reason to deny custody. That brings me on to the story of a man named Theron McGriff. Theron had recently come out as gay to his family, and his wife immediately took him to court and tried to file for him to lose custody of his children. Thankfully, the court ruled that he was allowed to keep his children. However, they were not allowed to be at his home while his partner was in the same room or in the same house. So although I guess it could be seen as justice because he did end up getting his children, I do not think that it's entirely fair that his spouse will never be able to meet his children. Challenges that people like Theron face every single day are only putting one spouse's name on the adoption papers, struggling to keep a child after a divorce, or declined a child because of sexual orientation. This brings upon the topic of the inability to divorce. According to Joshua Brock, the law as it currently stands effectively leaves validly married same-sex couples in Louisiana without a proper means of divorce for marriage not recognized under federal law. One of the first court cases allowing same-sex marriages to divorce was in 2017. That was only 4 years ago. Now the government has come a long way, but I hope that we can go up more from here. Sam Schwartz Fenwick stated that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act will allow employers to argue that they can lawfully deny benefits to same-sex spouses. Imagine not getting medical benefits because your spouse's job does not recognize your marriage. They can also be paid less and nothing is done about it. Carolyn Brown told a story about a woman who paid more than $363,000 in federal estate taxes after her wife of 40 years had died. Had their marriage been recognized federally, no estate tax would have been owed. All because her wife was the owner and not her, she had to pay a tremendous amount of money. This proves that the prejudice is real and it may be getting better, but it's not getting better fast enough. I'd like to bring your attention to the graph here. It states that same-sex couples, right here, have only 21.2% of them adopt children, because as you can see down here, the lime green talks about stepchildren and adopted children, and the blue talks about biological children only. Surprisingly, same-sex couples have a high number of biological children, usually because they use surrogates or things like that to obtain those children. But I do believe that the adoption rates should be a lot higher than they are, and I believe that they aren't because there's a lot of prejudice in the adoption agencies and the foster care systems, and it's hard for them to find a child without being taken advantage of. In conclusion, I believe that we should exercise the freedom of religion in both ways. Meaning that I think that it is totally okay for Christians or any other religion that does not believe in same-sex couples and same-sex marriages to believe whatever they want want and do whatever they want with their life. However, I do believe that they should let same-sex couples be happy in who they are and let them do what they want with their life and not judge them for it. Millions of children need families, and they should not be denied of that because the family who wants them is gay. Our country has come a long way in accepting diversity, and I only hope that we can go up from here. Thank you.